Hello and welcome to a new video on IGCSE mathematics. In this video, we shall be discussing the sine and cosine rules. This is a continuation of a previous video. In the previous video, we solved the following questions. We solved this question, as well as this question, as well as this question. So you should refer to the previous video for the detailed answers to these questions. Now, in this video, we shall begin to solve a little more advanced problems, like the one that we can see in front of us right now. So let's proceed. The area of triangle DEF is 70. Show that 4x squared plus 11x minus 300 equals 0. So the only difference between this and previous problems is just a little more algebra, pretty much. So the idea is that we have two sides here. We have the included angle between them. And we want to apply the cosine rule. Excuse me, this isn't even the cosine rule. This is the area rule. So here we're given the area of the triangle. So the area rule requires the same given data as the cosine rule. It requires two sides and the angle between them. So in this case, the area rule is basically A equals half AB sine theta. So all we have to do here is apply half AB sine theta. So just half, and then A would be x plus 4. And then B would be the other side here, which is 4x minus 5. So 4x minus 5. And then multiplied by sine 30. So just to get sine 30 out of the way, you can use your calculator to evaluate sine 30. You're going to find that this is equal to half. So we can just write 0.5. And then we can multiply this half by the other half. So these two together will just give us 1 over 4. And bear in mind that this is all equal to the area, and we can actually replace the area with the number they gave us, which is 70. So 70 equals 1 over 4 multiplied by these two brackets. So we can just create a single bracket, and we can do expansion. So first times first, that gives us 4x power 2. First times second, this would give us minus 5x. Second times first would be positive 16x. Second times second would be negative 20. And then we can simplify a bit further. So one way to simplify is we can take the quarter and move it to the other side. So it would just flip, you would just flip the fractions. We just get 4 times 70 equals whatever is inside the bracket. So for x power 2, there are no other terms in x power 2. So you just write it as it is. We're collecting the like terms pretty much. So we have minus 5x plus 16x. So this gives us plus 11x. And finally, minus 20. There are no other terms that are constants or that do not have x. So we're done. Now we can just multiply these out. We get 280. And then we can take the 280 to the other side. It will be negative, of course. So we get 0 equals 4x power 2 plus 11x minus 20 minus 280. So we can just simplify this again. It's okay to switch sides and have the 0 on the other side. It's just 4x squared plus 11x minus 300 equals to 0. And since question I was asking us to show this exact equation, we can consider it done. We are correct. We found the correct equation. I'm going to clear the screen since we don't really need these steps to solve the other two problems. In fact, even if you were unable to solve question I altogether, you can just use the information that they gave you in order to solve double I and triple I. So for double I, this isn't really geometry, this is more algebra. You are asked to solve using the quadratic formula. So let's just give a quick refresher, excuse me. So 4x squared plus 11x minus 300 equals 0. And the quadratic formula assumes that you have a quadratic equation written as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then you have a equals 4 and b equals 11 and c equals negative 300. You're just comparing the above equation to the below equation. So a is 4, b is 11, and c is negative 300. And the quadratic formula says minus b plus minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is all equal to the solution that we're looking for, which is x. Now let's plug in the numbers. So minus b becomes negative 11 plus minus, and then b squared is basically 121 minus 4 times a, which is 4 again, times c, which is negative 300. And of course, all of this is placed underneath a square root sign. And this is divided by 2a, which is 2 times 4 again. So I like to begin with the complicated part here. I like to figure this out first. So bear in mind that we have two negative signs. So it becomes radical 121 minus, and then 4 times 4 times negative, 4 times 4 times negative 300. Yes, 4 times 4 times negative 300. So this gives you negative 4,800. And then minus minus becomes plus. So these cancel out, and you can just get a positive sign. So you just add 121 to 4,800. I'm doing that on the calculator right now. You get 4,921. And you can take the square root of that. So square root of 4,921. That gives you 70.14. So this is a decimal. We don't really want that. So we'll just keep it as 4921 for now. Or actually, they want the answer to 2 decimal places, so we can just, they don't want the exact answer. So we can just use the 2 decimal places here. So the equation becomes x equals minus 11 plus minus 70.14 all over, excuse me, 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. So we have one of two possibilities. Either x equals negative 11 plus 70.14 over 8, or we have x equals negative 11 minus 70.14 over 8. For the first one, we get negative 11 plus 70.14 divided by 8. X is 7.39, or actually it's 0.3925, but we just want 2 decimals, so 7.39 is fine. And for the second one, we have negative 11 minus 70.14, and this is divided by 8, so it's negative 10.14. So we have 7.39 and negative 10.14. These are our final answers to double I. Let's just check whether they are correct. For double I, if you look carefully, you're going to find that the final answers are in fact correct. Negative 10.14 and 7.39. Let's go back and try to do triple I. Of course, we're just going to take the positive value for x. So X here is going to be, excuse me, it was 7.39. Yes. So X is equal to 7.39. We're just going to use that to evaluate and find the length of DE. So the length of DE, of course, we're just going to take the positive value of X and add it to 4. So 7.39 plus 4 gives you 11.39. And this is, of course, the correct answer here, 11.4 or 11.39. Moving on. The diagram shows triangle ABC with point G inside. CB equals 11, CG equals 5.3, BG equals 6.9. All of this is evident from the drawing, and angle CAB is 42 and angle ACG is 54. Now we are required to calculate the value of X, and we are required to calculate side AC. Right. So first of all, to calculate the value of X, this is a small triangle here where we have all three sides given. So whenever we have all three sides given, we can still use the cosine rule. It's just a slightly different version of the cosine rule. So the opposite side here is C, the opposite side to the angle I want. And the rule becomes cosine theta equals A squared plus B squared minus C squared over 2AB. And remember, you don't randomly pick values for A, B, and C. The C in particular has to be the side opposite to the angle that we're looking for. Of course, here, instead of theta, I can just write X. So cosine X equals, and then A is 5.3. It doesn't really matter where you put A and where you put B because it'll pretty much be the same. But anyway, 5.3 squared plus 11 squared minus 6.9 squared divided by 2AB, so everything except for the C, which is the opposite side. So 2 times 5.3 times 11. Now you can figure out the right-hand side first. So 5.3 squared, this is 28.09. Let me just write it. This is 28.09 here. And then 11 squared, using the calculator or mentally, it's 121. And then minus, and you have 6.9 all power 2, which gives you 47.61. And this is all divided by 2 times 5.3 times 11, which is 116.6. So we have cosine theta equals, or cosine X, excuse me, equals, and we just evaluate the numbers written in black. So I'm just going to use the calculator, 28.09 plus 121 minus 47.61. And then this answer divided by 116.6 gives us 0.8703. And then we shift cosine, so inverse cosine in order to get X of 0.8703. This gives us 29.5. So X is equal to 29.5 degrees. And this is the angle that they want, or actually they just wanted the value of X. Let's check, make sure that our answer is correct. So yes, it is correct for I. We are required to get 29.5 or 29.5064, whatever. So we're okay for A. Let's just write the answer down. So we have 29.5 for question I. Now we're required to get the value of AC. So let me first write the value of x in the triangle here, 29.5. And let's try to figure out how we're going to calculate the side AC. So for the side AC, you're going to need to figure out what sides you have and how you can use them in order to find the proper side. So what do we have here? We have angle A is 42, and we have angle C is 54. So one of the approaches could be, I'm just thinking with you, I don't know the answer yet, by the way. One of the approaches could be to draw this side here, just to figure out what AG is. This could be a possibility. Another approach would be to draw the big triangle as a whole and try to figure out what we have so far. I think this would be actually the better answer. So anyway, let's try it out. So if we draw the big triangle without the small triangle, so we don't really care about point G right now. We just have point C, we have point A, we have point B. You're going to find that angle A here is 42, same as the previous drawing. So let me erase the line I drew because it won't really help here. So we just have angle 42, and angle C is basically, I apologize, I made a mistake. So this is the triangle again. And we said this angle here is 42. And we have angle C. So angle C is 54 plus X. So 54 plus 29.5 is equal to 83.5. All I did was I added the two values, the 54 and the 29.5, to get the total angle or the total value of angle C. So now that we have angle C, which is 83.5, and we have side CB from the original drawing as well, which is 11, we are required to find AC. So the first step we do is we get the third angle, and that's very easy to do because the sum of the three angles is 180. So 42 plus 83.5 plus theta equals 180. We can just add 42 and 83.5. So 125.5 plus theta equals 180. And then you subtract. So theta is equal to 54.5. So this is the value of theta here, 54.5. And we are required to find the side AC, x here. So x over sine 54.5 is going to give us the same value as 11 over sine 42. How did I get that, or how did I figure this out? All I did was I figured out that these are opposites and these are opposites. So any side over the sine of the opposite angle has to give you the same value. So next we cross multiply. Or first we can actually just figure out the sine 42 and the sine 54. So sine 42 is 0.669. And sine 54.5, 0.814. So now we can cross multiply. We get 0.669x equals 11 times 0.814. We can divide by 0.669 here in order to get the value of x. So 11 times 0.814 divided by 0.669, x is equal to 13.384, or just maybe 13.4. That will serve as an okay final answer. So let's check the marking scheme. Yes, in fact, it is 13.38 or 13.4. These are both correct final answers. So this brings us to the end of our video. I hope this has been useful. Thank you for watching.